This is a podcast all about Bears. You either cheering for this team or just pulling your hair. I like to take a minute, just sit right back and tell you how I became the #1 Bears fan. That boy is Benny Hunter. Cake on the mic, cake on the mic, cake on the mic, cake on the mic. People, this the intro. Sacramento, California, born and raised. And Antelope is where I spend most of my days. Talk bad about my team, you must be a clown. This is Keek on the mic, so you know you better bear down. Bear down.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Like always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. So we are on to week number 9 of the NFL season, and once again, I am joined by my co-host Isaiah Frey. How you doing, Isaiah?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. We're on to week 9. The Chicago Bears are 3-5. And it seems that Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears offense are turning a corner and are getting a lot better. Obviously, they dropped a loss to the Dallas Cowboys, 49-29. But obviously, when you look at games like that, there were some moral victories in there because obviously Justin Fields had another good game. He got 1% better. And the offense is looking really good right now. So let's talk a little bit about the Dallas Cowboys game. And what did you see in that game?
Just to piggyback off what you said, the offense, man, that's two good games in a row that they played. Justin Fields, man, he's getting better, and that's a good sign for Chicago, man. Just seeing him, develop into what we know he can do. Even some of the throws that he made last week when the receivers didn't come down with it, man, there was some great throws. So just seeing him develop and the offense get rolling, him and the offensive coordinator on the same page, that's a great sight to see. Obviously, we'll probably speak about it later about the trades. It's kind of looking like they're, not competing to make the playoffs this year, but this bodes well for the future, 100%.
Yeah, and once again, kudos to Luke Getsy, putting him and other players on the team in good situations, because that was a very good Dallas Cowboys front, right? And just in general, a very good Dallas Cowboys defense, and they scored 29 points. That's the most points the Cowboys defense has given up all season long. So, that's impressive to me personally. Yes, we lost by 20. We got blown out in technical terms, but the Chicago Bears. What's the right term to use when they say you're not winning the war, but you're winning the battle, or it's something like that? You know what I'm talking about, right? They're not winning the battles, but they're going to win the war.
War, exactly.
So this is a long-term project for Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears, and obviously after back-to-back good games where Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears saw Justin Fields, said, you know what? He's our guy. Obviously, you and I have known that for a long time now, but finally, Ryan Poles goes out and gets him some more weapons and wide receiver Chase Claypool. Talk about how big that is for Justin Fields.
Huge. We spoke about it last week. It's crazy it happened during this week, but they've been desperately needing somebody to pop the top on the defense, right? They're not able to make downfield throws, and it's not at the fault of Justin Fields because he throws a pretty deep ball. That's one of his best attributes. They just didn't have nobody to pop the top. Darnell Mooney is a really great receiver. It's just that's not his game, though. So to have Chase Claypool come in there and kind of provide what they've been missing, it's going to open the offense even that much more. They're going to have so many weapons once he gets comfortable in that system for Justin Fields to go out there and just do what he does best.
Yeah, and obviously it's a big time trade for Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears offense. And obviously, getting Chase Claypool, we got him at the right time because the offense is clicking. But obviously, when you look at the Dallas Cowboys game, that deep shot that he had, Velus Jones wide open, just drops it. But then there's also some good things, right? N'Keal Harry had a touchdown catch, right? So maybe N'Keal Harry steps up and he gets better each week and he becomes one of Justin Fields' favorite targets. And all of a sudden you have a good group of wide receivers in N'Keal Harry, Darnell Mooney, Chase Claypool. And something that I haven't said before, but I want to say it now about the Chase Claypool trade is that's going to open up Darnell Mooney a whole lot. So once again, I know he's on your fantasy team. You're about to get a whole lot of points because now they can use Darnell Mooney in the slot. They can use him outside just because they have Chase Claypool now.
Yeah, definitely. He's more so, and I do look at Darnell Mooney as a number one. It's just right now it's a 1A, 1B situation with him, and they got different roles on that offense, but now he's going to be playing to his strengths. You know what I mean? His strength is not running downfield, winning deep balls per se. His strength is, in and out of cuts, getting the ball on screens, getting, in and out of the route. So I think this is going to be very beneficial for Darnell Mooney.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And obviously the Chicago Bears made, they were sellers and buyers in the trade deadline. Obviously they went out and got Justin Fields some more weapons, but they also traded not only Robert Quinn to the Philadelphia Eagles, they decided to trade Roquan Smith to the Baltimore Ravens for a 2nd and 5th round pick, which, there was a lot of fans that were upset, but there was also a lot of fans that understood. What was your initial reaction to Roquan Smith getting traded to the Ravens?
I like Roquan. I think he's a really good player. I'm big on having that man in the middle, man. That's the way your defense goes. And obviously last week wasn't a good display, but he's the leader of the defense. So it's going to hurt them more than it's going to help them getting rid of him. Only thing I can say is, hopefully that they get a guy in there next year that can kind of, anchor down that defense with all that money and cap space they have. But I think Bears fans should know the rest of this year on defense is not going to be the prettiest sight. And that's just being real about the situation.
No, not at all. And obviously I figured that the Bears would be sellers at the deadline. I thought Montgomery was on the trade block. I thought even Eddie Jackson had a chance to get traded. Obviously they decided to keep those guys, but obviously, Roquan, came out earlier in the offseason and said, I want to be traded. So it was no secret. Obviously the two sides were far off on contract negotiations, right? So I think Ryan Poles did what he had to do to get to him 2 valuable picks, right? A 2nd and 5th round pick, especially in these times, are very valuable to an NFL franchise, especially when you are looking to rebuild. So obviously I loved Roquan Smith, but at the end of the day, it's just the nature of the business as well, right? You just never know. Even though he was the leader, even Robert Quinn, he was the leader of the defense as well. But now they are looking at guys like Eddie Jackson, Jalen Johnson, right? Justin Fields to step up as leaders and rally these young guys together and just go out there and compete. We all know that this is not a winning year for the Chicago Bears, but you can still go out there and compete at a high level every Sunday, right? So
yeah, you got to, at the end of the day, man, it's your job. You got to go out there and do your job. So this is the time for the young guys to go out there and get much needed reps to kind of segue themselves into next year.
Yeah, so obviously, Isaiah, the Chicago Bears are heading back home at 3-5. And, I think they're going to go out there and play with confidence every single week. Just Fields just came out and said, what, it's my job as a leader to step up. It's Eddie Jackson's his job to step up as a leader. Same goes to all the guys. It's time for everyone to step up. Yes, we're going to miss Roquan. Yes, we're going to miss Robert Quinn, but we have to step up. So they travel back home and they're taking on a very good Miami Dolphins team. Obviously, when you look at the Miami Dolphins, you think about Tua, you think about Jalen Waddle, you think about Tyreek Hill and that very explosive offense. And like you said, this is not going to be the prettiest showcase for the Chicago Bears defense moving forward. But what is your initial reaction to this matchup against the Miami Dolphins?
It's going to be tough. It's not going to be an easy matchup. I'm very excited to see the offense. Not going to lie. I'm excited to go against the Dolphins defense. Dolphins defense has been so-so this year, but seeing them get better every week has been a great sight to see. So I'm looking forward to that. And just on defense, man, just compete. Go out there and compete. I know it's going to be tough. They all know it's going to be tough. But you go out there, man, you hold these dudes to, you go hold them under 21 points, man. In my mind, that's a win for them. You know what I mean? Win the game, that's a win for them.
Yeah, and obviously it's kind of funny because, the last couple of weeks, the Bears were 9-point underdogs, right? But now when you look at the spread, they're only 4.5-point underdogs. And I think it has a lot to do with how Vegas is feeling about Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields is starting to give you that vibe like, what, as long as you have Justin Fields, you have a chance to win. Even if you're down by 20, his teammates feel confident that, Justin Fields is that guy. We're still in this football game because of Justin Fields. And he's been showing it the last couple of weeks. So I'm excited to see Justin Fields in the offense hopefully take another step forward and get 1% better. Because at this point, obviously, you played for the Chicago Bears. It's always been about the Chicago Bears defense. But it seems like for once that Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears are finally going to invest in the offense.
Yeah, as they should, right? Now it's no question who the franchise player is. Well, before, you could have made the argument that Roquan could have been it, but now he's gone. It's Justin. So, you got to make sure that your guy is taken care of and that he's going to, do what needs to be done to lead you to where you want to go, which is the playoffs. So they're not expecting to do that this year, but, moving forward with all that money they have, it should get better.
Absolutely. So obviously, when we look at this game against the Dolphins, what are some X factors for each side that we should be looking at?
Oh, good question. X factor for the Dolphins, I'm going to go Raheem Mostert.
Yes.
Just because of last week's display against the Cowboys. Tony Pollard came in and had a career game. So Bears have to do a better job of stopping the run. So I feel like, with him, he's a good running back. So they're going to have to do a lot to kind of contain him. For the Bears, I'm going with Kyler Gordon. I think he needs to have a better game than he did last week. Like we said, he's been getting better every week. Last week wasn't his best game, but he's gonna have a tough matchup this week, man. Two fast guys that can get in and out of their breaks. That's not fun for any corner. So for them to be successful, him, Jalen Johnson, they need to have a great game.
Yeah, obviously, talking about Raheem Mostert, I definitely agree with you because obviously when you look at the Miami Dolphins offense, they're 28th in rushing yards per game. And obviously that's the area that the Chicago Bears defense struggles at, right? Is stopping the run. So obviously Miami Dolphins are going to come in and try to run the football. But I think the Miami Dolphins are not really concerned about running the football because they have those two guys in Waddle and Tyreek Hill that can beat you every single time over the top, right? So I feel like they know that they can get those guys the ball whenever they want to, but I still expect them to come in and try to oppose their will on the ground as well. In terms of Kyler Gordon, that's a huge one because obviously not only Kyler Gordon, but Jaquan Brisker had a rough game last week too. He seemed like he was lost in coverage a couple of times against the Cowboys, which is a good thing, right? Because he's been doing so well, but I think that performance kind of brought him back down to earth, right? Kind of say, okay, kind of humbled him a little bit, saying, okay, I need to get back to work, right? So obviously the secondary, when you just look at the Chicago Bears defense, man, I'm a little nervous because when you have two guys like Waddle and Tyreek Hill, they can give you fits, right? Obviously, when you look at Tyreek Hill, he already has 69 catches for 961 yards. So it can potentially be a long day for the Chicago Bears defense.
Wait, can you repeat his stat line again? I didn't know this.
He has 69 catches for 961 yards. He actually has more receiving yards than the entirety of the Chicago Bears offense.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Yes.
I've never heard that at this point in the season. Wow.
Yes. On 92 targets, 69 receptions, and for 961 yards. And put that in perspective, he's their number one. And put that in perspective, Darnell Mooney has 25 catches for 364 yards, and that's our number one. Think about that.
Oh, goodness gracious. Wow.
He's tripling the production of Darnell Mooney.
Right.
So obviously you lost two leaders on your defense. I don't know what to expect from the Chicago Bears defense. I have no expectations, but I don't even know how you play. Obviously you played safety. How do you plan for a guy like Tyreek Hill?
Got to get hands on him. Got to get hands on him at the line. It's going to take away from something like your run game or something. But to slow that dude down, you got to get hands on him on the line. Got to reroute him when you get the chance. I don't anticipate them playing much man because you can't play much man against these guys because there's not too many guys that can run with Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle. But if you're in cover 3, you're in cover 2, you get a chance to reroute them, got to get hands on them. Because if you don't get hands on them in cover 2, as a safety, that's not helping you because you let him get full speed into his route and didn't slow up his progress in his route at all, he's going to run past you.
Yeah, and for sure. And to kind of piggyback on what your X factors were, I think for me, it's Jaquan Brisker. I kind of have a feeling that with Roquan Smith gone, I look at Jaquan Brisker kind of like that hybrid guy, right? A guy that can maybe go down and play, a little bit of linebacker, maybe where Roquan was. I feel like he's going to have a lot bigger of a role with Roquan Smith gone. So just like Kyler Gordon, I think he's going to have his hands full, obviously, because this is going to be a full team effort trying to slow down. I'm not going to say stop, but slow down Waddle and Tyreek Hill. And then for the Dolphins, I'm just going to go with Tua. Obviously there's been a lot of talk about Tua, but I feel like he's answered all the questions. And obviously the Dolphins did a great job with surrounding him with more talent. I hope he doesn't take a lot of vicious hits in this game, because he's obviously dealt with it this year. But I have to give Tua his props. He is a very, very good quarterback in my eyes. And once again, I think the Bears defense are going to have their hand full with this Miami Dolphins offense, especially when you look, they're seventh in total yards. They're third in passing yards, right? They're 16th in points, scoring 22 points a game. So this is the offense that can score points in a hurry if you allow them to.
Yeah, definitely. They're rolling right now, man. They got a good system in place, and they know exactly what they need to get done. This is not going to be an easy game for the Bears defense. So they need to come locked in, ready to go. And more than anything, man, go out there and make plays, create turnovers. Right. That's keep this game a lot closer.
Right. And obviously, at this point, the Bears have no expectations, right? So they can go out there and play loose, right? Like we say it all the time, and I talked to you before, this is just about developing these young guys now, right? Obviously with Roquan Smith gone, Jack Sanborn is probably gonna get the start now at linebacker, right? And that's what it's all about. Getting the young guys, see what you got in these young guys so you can build a good roster, right? So I expect the Bears to come out and be competitive, but I think we also have to be realistic to the fact that the Dolphins do have the better team right now. Right. And that's just being a realist. And I know I'm usually the one that's optimistic, but I have to be realistic as well that most of these teams that we play from here on out are the better team.
Yeah.
Right. So now, Isaiah, obviously, when we look at this game, what are some key matchups for this game against the Dolphins? And I know what you're probably going to say, right? Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle versus the Bears secondary, right?
100%. You know me.
I know you're a secondary guy, so
yeah, that's. I mean,
is that the game to you?
That's the game to me, honestly, because it's going to be tough for them, and it's not for their lack of ability, because I honestly think they're all getting better, right? They had rough games last week, but they're trending this way. It's for me, it's the lack of pass rush that they're probably going to get from their D line. The lack of even having a man in the middle to kind of get the defense in order and lined up. Like, that's tough on the secondary, regardless if you can be out there, Deion Sanders, Darrelle Revis, it don't matter. If you don't have those two things in place, it's not going to be an easy day. So that is the game. If they can hold up and do the best they can, then they'll be better than what I think they're going to be, but it's going to be tough.
Right. And I think I'm going to do the opposite of what you said. I'm going to do Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears offense versus the Miami Dolphins defense. Obviously, they just acquired Bradley Chubb, big time pass rusher from the Denver Broncos. I'm not sure how much he's going to play, but I don't think it matters. I think he's going to be in the game on pass rushing downs. But there is an opportunity for the Bears offense to maybe keep pace with this Miami Dolphins offense. Obviously, they were doing it against the Dallas Cowboys, but the Bears defense just had no answers for the Cowboys offense, right? But when you look at the Miami Dolphins defense, they're 22nd in total yards, 26th in passing yards. They're sixth in rushing yards, which is kind of interesting because obviously the Bears have the number one rushing attack, right? So that's going to be an interesting matchup for the Bears offensive line. Hopefully they can gain leverage. But they're also 22nd in points giving up 24 points a game. So there's going to be opportunities there for Justin Fields in particular to have another good game. And I think for us, we asked the same question: did Justin Fields get better this week? And I feel like by the end of next week, I'm going to say yes, he did get better this week.
Yeah, he's been trending up the last 3 or 4 weeks, and this is a good matchup for him, right? This is going to be a good matchup. Dolphins they're an average defense this year, so I look forward to him kind of, if they do have a chance to win, it's going to be on him to kind of keep pace to what they're doing on offense, right?
Right.
So I think he's going to do it. I've been singing his praises all year, man, and he's been delivering. So I'm looking forward to Justin Fields having another great game.
Yeah, and I agree. And like I said, at this point, I think it's a beautiful sight that Ryan Poles did invest in Justin Fields. Obviously, I feel like getting rid of Roquan Smith was also kind of a sign saying, you know what, we're not going to pay Roquan Smith $23 million a year. We're going to take that money and invest in Justin Fields. That's how I looked at the Roquan Smith move. And obviously, when you get Chase Claypool, that solidified that, you know what, this is our guy. We need to surround him with more talent. So it's a beautiful sight to see. So Isaiah, let's cut to the chase here, right? Obviously, we usually do 3 keys to a Chicago Bears win, right? Do you have any keys to a Bears win? And also with that, what is your prediction for this matchup against the Dolphins?
You know, the keys are going to be a little skewed this week because we know what they're doing right now, and it's hard. It's hard for me to come up with keys to say that these need to happen for them to win. I think one of the main ones, like I said just a little bit ago, is Justin Fields has to keep pace with their offense because they're going to score some points. It's inevitable, but he's going to have to come away with some points. Probably 90% of the possessions he gets. You know what I mean? Whether that be touchdown, field goal, doesn't matter. You got to keep pace.
Yeah.
I would say another key that's very important is the Bears defense needs to find a way to contain the run. And the reason why I feel like that's more important than even the pass game is because if they're not containing that run and they start stacking the box to contain that run.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
You're leaving those guys butt naked on the outside, and it's not a good sight, man. Not with Tyreek Hill, not with Jalen Waddle. It's not going to be a good sight. So they have to find a way to slow down that run game so they can kind of sit back and play that pass. You know what I mean? So I think those are the two main ones. Score. Tough to say, man. I'm gonna go lights out. I'm gonna go lights out game. I'm gonna go 27-30 Miami. Unfortunately, but I believe in Justin Fields for him to keep it close.
It's a beautiful sight to see that you're giving the Bears over 20 points. Isn't that crazy how in just a couple of weeks? Because literally we just put up only 7 points against the Washington Commanders. And no disrespect to the Commanders. That defensive line is very good. But overall, I think we play the Commanders again. I think we know how that would go.
Right.
But it's just crazy how things change. And I know that we talked about it before that week 8, week 9, things are going to start clicking, right? And look at they're starting to click, right? And obviously those are 3 good keys that you gave, but I think my 3 keys are keep your foot on the gas pedal with Justin Fields. Keep doing what he likes, design runs, rollouts, right? Easy completions, right? But I feel like Justin Fields, you can probably open up the playbook even a little bit more now, especially with Chase Claypool. Yes, he doesn't know the offense, but hey, run straight, make those big plays for Justin Fields. So 50-50 balls, right? You don't need to know the playbook to do that.
Right.
Right. So keep your foot on the gas pedal. Obviously, the defensive line has to get pressure, right? And that's like you mentioned, stopping the run. And that's on the defensive line, right? We didn't trade anybody on the defense line besides Robert Quinn, right? They're all still there.
Yeah.
Minus Robert Quinn. So we need to stop the run, try to get pressure on Tua, right? And I think if you can do that, hopefully that limits the explosive plays for Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. And then my 3rd key is make sure you tackle. Tackling is huge in this game because a lot of those yards for Tyreek Hill are yards after the catch, right? Yeah. He's slippery. Same with Jalen Waddle. They're just quick. They're able to break tackles. So make sure you're wrapping up. Don't just go up there and hit with your shoulder because if you try to hit with your shoulder this time and not wrapping up, you're going to look dumb. So I feel like those are my 3 keys. And I don't like giving scores. I really don't. I don't know why. It just never works out for me, but
especially now.
I have to be realistic. I want to be realistic here, but once again, every week in my picks, I pick the Bears to win because I'm just a fanboy. That's what I do. You know what? I don't know. Something's telling me it's kind of like that New England Patriots game. Something's telling me that Justin, this is going to be another level.
Go with the gut, man.
It's just going to be. It's going to be like a. You know what I mean? It's just going to be like a different dimension.
Yeah.
Of Justin Fields. You're gonna be like, man, where was this?
Yeah.
Even from the last 2 weeks, where was this Justin Fields? I think it's gonna be a high scoring game because I don't think our defense is gonna be able to stop them, and I feel like their defense also has their flaws as well. So I'm gonna say, let's just do 27-24 Bears.
Okay.
27-24 Bears. And the only reason I'm saying 27 because they did score 33 and 29 in back-to-back weeks, so I think it's a possibility.
Yeah, it's a huge possibility, especially against this defense. So we both agree that 27 points should be scored by the Bears, which I can see happening.
If they don't, we may have to cancel the podcast next week because.
Hey, I've been my score prediction record this year is I'm probably 2 and we can win. I probably got 2 wins under my belt, man. It's been bad.
Well. So. If you only got 2 wins, I probably got 0 because I think I picked the Bears every week. So I'm 3-5 then because I picked the Bears every
There was one week you didn't. It was the Vikings week.
The Vikings game. So I'm probably like what, 4-4?
Yeah, you're not doing bad. That Patriots win, that was big.
Yeah, I'm not doing too bad, but hey, there's always a possibility, like I like to say, every given Sunday, anyone can be beaten. Obviously, the Miami Dolphins are a good football team, but they are beatable as well.
Yeah.
Outside of, their explosive offense, I think there's going to be some opportunities. Obviously, you're at home, so that helps. Obviously, you should be playing loose, so that helps. And obviously I think when you have an emerging quarterback like Justin Fields, that should also help because he's playing with the utmost confidence right now. So I'm excited to see what happens, and hopefully the Bears can get a win and move to 4-5, because obviously we play the Lions after that, and that's always a winnable game for the Bears. So then they'll be able to get back to 500 hopefully. So we'll see.
And this is my question for Bears fans is like, at what point do you start rooting for them to kind of lose? You know what I mean? So the draft pick is a little higher, like.
And that's also that's a very fair question, because if you lose this week in the same fashion, that you did last week, and I think Bears Insider actually came out and said that you're like, the perfect scenario for the Bears this year would be the offense to play this good every week, but still lose.
Right. Seriously.
Right? Because then you're going to get a good draft pick.
Right. But
then you also know that Justin Fields is that guy.
He's that guy.
So at least you got your quarterback.
Yeah. You get a good draft pick. You got Justin Fields rolling, doing his thing, and you got all that money to pay somebody. That's actually a really good point. That's probably the best scenario for them.
After we got blown out by the Cowboys, my cousin's a Cowboys fan. He's like, we beat y'all so bad that we made you trade your best player in Roquan Smith. I said, that's okay. Because I was like, I guarantee you in the next 2 to 3 years, we're going to be a lot better than the Cowboys.
Oh, 100%.
Because how we're setting things up. The Cowboys are built to win now. But if they don't win, then it's just a bust.
Yeah.
And I said, no hard feelings, but I don't think you guys are going to win. I don't think you guys are better than the Bills. I don't think you guys are better than the Chiefs. You're not even better than the Eagles right now.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they'll get a wild card, unfortunately, even with that good record.
Right.
But like we said, we talked about this last week, man. Like, we knew what this year's was. Next year's going to be a very big improvement. But that third year, in 2 years, watch out.
I agree.
Watch out.
And you know what? It's going to feel good for you and I to come on here and be like, we knew it.
We knew it.
We always had the confidence, because even in week 1, we were like, we're fine. We know this is not a year where we're going to be like, okay, we know we're not winning the Super Bowl this year, but did Justin Fields get better? And yes, from week 1 to now, what a difference.
Oh, yeah.
What a difference from Justin Fields. And I guess that's how I kind of want to end the show today, is asking you this. As a Bears fan, what do we need to see from Justin Fields this week?
Consistency at this point, because I like, you know what I mean? For me, there's nothing in his game where I'm like, okay, this is what he needs to improve on. He's getting outside the pocket. He's getting those yards that need to get done. He's throwing fantastic deep balls that need to be caught. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Just be consistent now. You know what I mean? That's what great quarterbacks do. They do it every week. So keep it rolling.
And go ahead and say it. Get 1% better.
1% better, man. That's all we need.
I love it. Yeah. I'm telling you, we're going to have to get shirts that say 1% better each week, and wear them on the podcast. I think that would be dope.
That would be dope.
Well, Isaiah, once again, thank you so much for coming on to the Chicago Bears versus Miami Dolphins pregame show. I really, really appreciate you. And hopefully, usually when you go against the Bears, they win. So hopefully that's the same case this week.
Yeah, I'm doing some Jedi mind tricks right now, man. So yeah, I'll keep that rolling for y'all. Don't worry.
I love it. So Bears fans, before I let you guys go, let me ask you guys this. Who is going to win this week 9 matchup between the Chicago Bears and the Miami Dolphins? Let me know down below in the comment section. Before I let you guys go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms. Make sure you share this episode of Kick on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, I'll be back for an all new Bears podcast right here on Kick on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic.